All right, guys, we are live. It's episode 307 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Co-host joining me, Jennifer Seymour's in the house. Go on, Jen.
Hey, everybody.
Gray Cannon's in the house. What's up, dude?
Hey everyone.
And your part-time host, Anthony's in the house. Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Part
All right.
time, yeah.
Part-time. Guest star of the hour. Man, 15 years old. She was like 14, killing it still. So, Allison Zane's in the house. What's going on, Allison?
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I know we said like 2 words before this because I came in late to the pre-show. But it's good to have you on. I heard a lot about you, follow you on Instagram and Facebook, and every time you're holding a trophy or doing something. So obviously you're doing a lot of winning. So we're going to talk to you about that here. Show sponsors, the folks over at GSL Technology Suppressors, okay? Anything suppressor needs, all right? 22, big bore stuff, long range stuff, tactical. If you want to suppress a fully auto, I mean, they got it all over at gsltechnologies.com. All right, theshootersmindset.com, where you can keep in up to date with the Shooters Mindset stuff, blogs, live shows, all that stuff. Follow us on podcast formats. You can listen up after the live show, all there. Questions, just comment on the Facebook feed. All right, we're live on the Shooters Mindset every Tuesday at 9. If you want to go to question in live, go ahead and comment on the Facebook feed. We'll grab it and get it to Allison throughout the show. All right. For those who aren't familiar with you, tell us a little bit more about yourself and just how you got started into competitive shooting.
Okay, so I'm 15. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm a sophomore in high school. In school, I'm in the marching band. I run track for part of the year. I'm a pretty good student for the most part, and I'm in some clubs in school, just kind of keeping myself busy. I used to play some basketball at one point. I used to play different amounts of just different sports in general. And then ninth grade, I really kind of got into shooting. So I kind of put all my energy into that mostly. I live with my mom and my dad. Both my parents are police officers. My dad's also a firearms instructor. I have a sister who's 17, and I have a dog named Gracie.
There you go. So really active in the school, and obviously the parents being in the profession they are probably got you involved in some shooting sports. What age did you really start getting into that as far as just firearm safety and getting into it?
Well, my parents started kind of taking me to the range when I was about 8, just with like a pellet gun, 22s, just kind of small caliber rifles. They were taking me to the range. And then when I was 11, I started really getting into, so I asked my parents to take me to this program our club does. It's an NRA juniors program where it's a 4-positional offhand shooting at 50 feet with a 22 iron sights. So, and I kind of just learned how to, handle a gun safely and learn the fundamentals pretty much, which was great. Start me off with.
There you go. Yeah, my range that I work at, 8 years old is a minimum age allowed. And some people, they ask that question and I say 8 years old and I'm like, really? 8 years old? That's way too young. I guess it all depends on the maturity level. I don't know at 8 years old if I was mature enough to do that, but my mind was all over the place. I was too busy doing silly things and at that age, but I don't know, man. I got into it 21. So you're way ahead of me on that. I know Jennifer got into it later than that.
Hey, we don't have to talk about age.
And I don't know Greg's age limit on getting into firearms, but
So I got my first gun when I was 11 for hunting. I got a little single shot 20 gauge, but I never really got into the competitive stuff until I moved down here where it was, I guess, everywhere. I'm fortunate enough to live in a place where when I started out in USPSA and 3-gun, it's like there's 2 ranges within 30 minutes of the house that are hosting matches. So there's some place to shoot all the time.
Boom, yeah. You got to love that where you can almost shoot 3-4 times a week if you really wanted to hit that many locals between different disciplines of sports and stuff like that. Down here, we only had that pretty much twice a weekend if we were lucky. Now it's gotten a lot better. Allison, how do you manage? How do you balance school and all the activities and shooting and practice and all that stuff to be on top of your game at this game?
So I spend a lot of time just planning things out, especially like time management is pretty much what I have to do at the beginning of every week to kind of figure out what I need to get done. So when I go to school, we have these periods at our school where they're PLT times where we get just a certain amount of the day just to sit in a classroom and do whatever we need to do. So I try to get a lot of my school stuff done, but that's mostly priority for me. So I work on that. I try to get all my school stuff done, and then when I get home, I try my best to work on practice for 15 to 20 minutes a night or every other night, and then I work on what I need to do to get ready for my matches. So it could be reloading or just putting my bag together or figuring out a schedule or signing up for a match, things like that. Where I really gotta plan it out, just make sure that I can fit everything in, but still keep good grades in school. You know, be able to make whatever marching band practice I need to make, get on whatever Google Meets I need to after school.
So you're saying you're just a really organized person?
Yeah, I try to be. Sometimes it doesn't always work out like that.
So just don't show up to a match and you sign up 24 hours before the match is about to go or something like that, and just go and leave all your ammo at home and then realize, oh shit, I gotta.
Yeah.
How am I?
Well, I haven't shown up to a 22 match. Well, me thinking it's a 22 match and it was a center fire match. I haven't done that yet, so which is pretty good. Or I haven't shown up with the wrong gun yet.
I think the worst I've done is I found out that a match was a 2-gun match when I showed up there. It was, they advertised it as, the Taco Bowl 22 series or whatever. And I was like, cool, yeah, let's go this. It sounds fun. And I'd shot one match there before, and it was just like a little 22 match. And getting there, and they're like, yeah, so on the pistol stage, I'm like, the what stage?
I haven't done that.
It's like, I got a shield with 7 rounds in it. Can I shoot that?
That would be rough.
Yeah. But Allison, that's like super impressive, because I know like adults that do half as much as you do and don't manage to get it all done. So
here's the big question. Are you in Pennsylvania, do you have a choice this year to do in school or virtual, and what are you going to do?
I have a choice. So we have in school, virtual, and so it's like cyber school, and then we have, you can watch your classes from home live, like on a Google Meet or whatever. But I'm going to school, so I need to go to school because I'm getting a little stupid sitting at home. I went to go write one of my school essays, and that was a little rough. I need to go back to school.
More time for shooting that way, right?
Yeah, more time for shooting. One thing good about doing virtual is that I've done this a couple times. I went to the range and I'm like, okay guys, I have a Google Meet at 2:00. So give me a half an hour and nobody shoot, because I don't want them to hear guns in the background.
That would be entertaining.
Yeah.
Do you hear about the kid that got expelled for like having a gun in the background of his online class or something?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's like super overreach there.
I think I showed up to half my Google Meets in shooting sweatshirts and shooting shirts.
I think you can get in trouble. I'm sure. I heard a couple stories where people show up with gun shirts or pro gun shirts or something, and they get in trouble in school for just wearing the shirt. So, and this little virtual school thing, they're treating it, well, at least Broward County school systems or whatever, is treating it just like you're at school. So you have to wear clothing like you would be at school, like no pajamas. You have to, you know what I mean? Like legit, you know.
I think I rolled out of
like
bed
you're in
half
school
the
just.
time.
Yeah, just on a Zoom camera, but you're in school, just like you would be. So I'm sure if they saw guns in the background or something like that, you're supposed to be in school, no guns, right? So
Yeah.
I get it, but then again, it's like, oh shit, kind of.
It's crazy.
So I couldn't just like sit there and like be like, oh yeah, da da da.
Yeah, they're probably gonna call the cops on you.
Yeah, can't be doing that. We got some live here. So lots of people checking in and saying, hey, Amanda Wheeler says, Allison. Hey, Amanda. Chad Heckler says, hey, ladies. I'm not sure if he's only speaking to me and Allison or if he's calling you guys lady as well. Either one is fine with me.
What up, Chad?
Kevin says he made it in. Tony says, Allison for the win. Hey, guys, from Jim Rickner. So here's your first question. And I should ask it and let you guess who it's from. Allison Zane, does your dad ever drive you crazy at a match?
Yes.
Your dad is not who asked that. So who do you think asked it?
I don't know. Swanee? I
Think
don't know.
Think of other dads.
Oh, Mr. Glasscock?
Yeah. It was Chad Glasscock, yeah. How does your dad drive you crazy?
So sometimes he doesn't shoot the matches with me, so he's with me, and he's also a shooter. And when I was younger, he used to have to tell me, okay, load your mags. My dad always tells me this, bubble level, make sure your gun's level. He used to yell that, like kind of like say it to me when I'm like shooting. He's like, bubble level when I'm shooting. So, he'll be like over my shoulder. He's like, I'm like writing my dope down. He's like over my shoulder. I'm like, dude. I'm like, I got all this stuff down. I got it.
Like, back off. You've gotten pretty independent in your shooting. I know a lot of people have said, like she doesn't get win calls off everybody else. In fact, Brad McDermott says, thanks for some great win calls, Allison.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Swanee asks when you're going to give your dad a break and start reloading your own ammo.
Ooh.
I do most of my reloading. He just won't let me put the powder and like seed the bullet, just because I like to watch Netflix when I like do my brass and stuff. So he thinks I'm gonna blow myself up probably. Just to be safe. He does it, but I think eventually I'll be able to convince him to let me do it.
Just tell him I ain't no Ryan Hay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We're not going there.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Not going there.
So you mentioned
biggest. Well, go ahead.
Let's say you mentioned that you practice 15 minutes a day or 15 minutes every other day. What does your practice generally consist of?
So usually, just depending on like the last couple weeks, I've been shooting just weekend after weekend. So I've been sticking to just a simple five positions on a barricade, going from dialing 5 targets, 2 shots per position, 90 seconds, just trying to get that down. And then I work on holdovers. I work on shooting with my support side, weak side. I work on things like the cattle gate. I had one really bad experience with the cattle gate, and I said no more. So then I always work on that.
I don't think I've ever had one good experience with a cattle gate.
Cattle gates are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at that. Do you use a tripod on the cattle gate or no?
I don't. I just use a bag, and then the last rung I can't fit my gun in, so I just run the front of my gun up and use the big bag in the back. So I kind of try to stay away from tripods because I can barely like handle my gun by itself because it's so heavy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, just stick to what I know and I know I can use. It's not gonna, because I'll be like hitting off the cattle gate, hitting off the RO who's standing next to me with a timer, probably. So I'm better just to keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
I'm the same way. Mm-hmm. I can pick up things. I'm good at carrying stuff. Like at matches, like I can carry some of the stuff, y'all. I'm good, but like as far as like being coordinated and actually shooting while maneuvering a tripod, I'll end up tripping over myself.
A lot of people get tangled in them. If you don't practice with it a lot, you really just shouldn't do it at a match.
I know. I was told that.
A couple times.
Once. I've used a tripod in a match once and got absolutely ripped for it. Come off the stage, the RO goes, Greg, do you practice with a tripod? I'm like, no. She goes, I can tell. You shouldn't use that in a match. I'm like, you're probably right, but I wasn't going to do good on this one anyway. It was one of these shooting off of like a little stick like this.
Oh.
Like real weird positions.
There you go. That match that Brian Sykes put on, what was it, in Nebraska? Jen, you shot it?
Wyoming.
Wyoming?
Well, or Utah.
Okay.
I think it was either or. One step you're in Wyoming, next step you're in Utah. It's kind of hard to keep track.
Was that the one that Allison did really well at? That was a really tough match?
Yes.
Really,
she did
really
very well.
Yeah,
That was a rough
Allison,
match for me.
tell us about that match, because a lot of people said it was kind of rough. What do you think of it?
It was a fun match. I enjoyed myself because I got halfway through the day because there was crazy wind. I mean, it was, messing with your elevation. You were going from every other shooter was a different direction wind, different value wind. It was kind of hard to keep track of what way the wind was going. So I think I got to about stage 3 and I'm like, I'm just going to have fun. It's a wind. It's windy. Everybody else is getting all this wind. So I learned a lot there, which was the biggest thing for me. Was I learned how to, I think I pretty much learned how to shoot in a lot of wind. So I like the East Coast wind, my 4 to 6 miles per hour going left to right.
There you go.
I definitely love that.
You ended up winning that one? Was it a high lady on that?
Yeah, I got top lady at that one.
Wow, congratulations.
Top
on
lady
that.
and top junior?
No, I didn't get top junior at that match.
That's right. I couldn't remember. But she
There you
did a great job. That's when we got to go out and shoot out to 1,500 yards. We rode out with Keith Baker and Matt Steiner and Greg Moore and your dad, and we went out in the middle of nowhere, and we're trying to make sure I don't think we'll get arrested if we're shooting here.
Yeah, we're driving around for an hour, stopping and asking people, can we shoot here? I think so. Okay. Good enough.
Yep. Yeah. Found a mountain that was 1,500 yards away and shot it.
Middle of nowhere, but it worked.
Shot a little rocket 1,500 yards. Anyway, it was fun.
Yeah.
There you go. So the rules on PRS, is it the same kind of like in the pistol games, like past 18, you're no longer a junior, or what's the...
So
is it for the year?
I think it's for the year. I think when you start, you have to be 18 or younger. I'm not sure what the starting age is because I really never looked at that, but I know that I think it's when you start the season. At least I know that's for the NRL and NRL 22. I think we start the season if you're, NRL 22 is 16, but I think you have to be 18 when you start for the most part.
There you go. Interesting. Any upcoming juniors or upcoming youth shooters, right? What's the biggest piece of advice you can give them?
It would be to, first of all, start off learning gun safety and the fundamentals of marksmanship. That's kind of what I started to do when I learned how to shoot. So I think that going into the game that I am doing now, it was one of the biggest things that helped me out in the long run. That, people say they're like, oh, you're so far ahead. I think that maybe that's why. So every time before a match, my dad, he asked me what's the most important thing. I tell him safety. So that's one of the big things that we always cover when we're down at our club with the other junior shooters that I help out with the program I used to shoot in. So fundamentals match point aim, sight alignment, sight picture, trigger control, follow through, and then breathing control. So all that kind of stuff, which they should really learn from the bench or from the prone. I wouldn't go right into the shooting off barricades and stuff. I'd learn that stuff first, and then kind of get into that bigger stuff, a bigger caliber, more complex things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, speaking of fundamentals, our friend Phil Vallejo wants to know your thoughts on free recoil.
I don't use free recoil. I like to keep control of my gun when I'm like back here because I shoot a 6 Creedmoor. So like if I don't have the back, like my butt stock on my shoulder, that thing's going everywhere but where it needs to be. So I've never really used it. Not to my knowledge. Maybe I have. I just haven't noticed it. But yeah,
Phil loves free recoil. He thinks that everyone should free recoil. Love you, Phil. He's probably like,
I've never really, kind of thought about it. I don't get a lot of actual practicing shooting. I just practice dry fire. So, when I go to a match, I'm like, okay, just see what you did last time. I don't like to change things unless I've practiced them. So I kind of just.
It's a good way to be.
Yeah.
We mentioned a little bit about breathing control and fundamentals of shooting. I mean, what do you tell somebody? I know nothing, right? Just so I know nothing, especially about this PRS game. So what do you mean breathing control? Get into details. Am I just holding my breath every time I pull the trigger, or
so when I shoot, what I specifically do is that I look over my scope to kind of get aligned with the target a little bit, and then I kind of get myself aligned up with the target, and then when I go to run the bolt, I breathe out so that everything I would just relax before I shoot. So when you shoot, you probably don't want to be holding your breath because then you're all tense. You're probably shaking when you're trying to shoot. So pretty much just trying to get your body to relax and just take a good shot.
No, that's good. That's good advice. Yeah, because you're so being relaxed. Yeah, because if you're holding your breath, then you're taking deeper breaths after it because you're out of breath from holding your breath too much.
Yeah, then you're getting your heart rate up, which is not very good shooting off a barricade.
There you go. Good advice there. What else do we have? We had some live that came in, Greg. Jen?
Yeah, there's a few more. So Sid Rockwell says, hi, Allison. I know you don't know me, but I think you're awesome and that she misses me. Miss you too, Sid. She's a 3-gunner, and she's been on our show before. That was a junior shooter. She's in college now, but she was a junior shooter for a lot of years in 3-gun. So she kind of understands being a female junior. So anyway, she said, hey, Keith Baker says you crush it without a tripod. You don't need a tripod. Jeremy Henner wants to know, what is your favorite match to shoot?
That's kind of a hard one. Do you mean talking about center fire or just like 22 or just both?
Just in general, what's your if you can go back this weekend and shoot one match that you've shot before again, what would it be?
I really enjoyed my last match, which was the Wisconsin match. I liked the 75-second part times we had on Sunday. I really liked that fast-paced match type of style, and it was a lot of positional shooting, which I like off barricades and stuff. That's the kind of shooting that I like to shoot. I'm not a big let's shoot from the prone for half the match. Because that's just a lot of what I practice.
Right. No, yeah. That's where I think that question was leading. Like how kind of like your favorite match and how it was set up, the stages. I kind of agree. I like fast hoser style pistol stages, get in, get out. Love the fast stuff that is like shoot this target, then shoot this target like it's a mind game. I don't go for the mind game kind of stages. It's just not, to me, it's not fun. And to me, I'm not very good at it. So I guess that's why I don't think it's fun. But yeah, definitely want the fast hoser stuff, man. Let's burn it down. Let's burn it down for the gram. It looks good for camera. All right, what else we got left?
John Wade says you should try MPRSC because it's 60-second par times.
God. I think I could do 75 seconds. I've barely made those. That's a little fast for me.
Yeah, in
right now.
Wisconsin, when we found out like the second day they cut them all to 75 seconds, which turned out to be perfect. I got to give Ken Wheeler and Nate all the credit because like we finished and the bottom fell out.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
I
had
got
they
it.
not cut it back to 75-second stages, we would still be shooting in the pouring
We
down
would've-
rain. So
We would have been drenched. Yeah. So I started on stage 2. Well, stage 12 in the last one. So I had to go all the way back up to stage 11. I got up there. I'm like, I'm going to shoot so I can get out. It starts raining. I'm like, okay. I'm like, just get all my stuff because cleaning wet rifle gear is not fun at all.
I can relate. I had a Facebook memory pop up not long ago of an entire car full of gear. Literally, just car was unloaded, gear was spread in the driveway.
Yeah. So you're laying this out. You got to pull your guns apart. It's just not fun.
Not at all.
grab some more lives, Greg. I've been talking too much.
All right. Let's see. Very good. Swanee said a shout out to a friend of all of ours as everything moves.
Isaac Frank.
Isaac Frank, you'll be missed. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I know that he passed this week, and it seems very unfortunate.
It's a UTV accident, very unexpected.
Let's see. Joe Salvador said, Allison, keep doing you. You're getting better and better every season, so you got a great formula for success. Gina said, hope Allison wins the NRL 22 Nationals this weekend, and she better get 3 trophies for doing so.
I can try. I'm going to try. But
we all got faith in you. I'll be cheering for you from home, or maybe the range. I might be doing some practice. We'll see. Hal said he just started shooting long range matches. He shoots a 6.5 Grendel DMR, and he wants to know what your favorite caliber is.
So my favorite caliber is a 6 Creedmoor. It's always what I've shot in centerfire matches. I know it's a lot of recoil, but I've started to learn how to manage it more the more as I go. And it's really easy to see when you get kind of past 1,000, you're at 1,000, those photo distances. So I really like being able to, when the bullet hits the target, I mean, you can tell which side it hit for sure. You really see the splash. It's fast. I don't have to hold a lot of wind. So that's always great for me.
Yep. Fast is awesome. I just started playing with a 6 mil. I switched over to a GT, and it's like, it's definitely different.
Yeah. I've been a little hesitant to switch calibers, and I've decided I think I'm going to stick with it for a little while until I find something that I really need to switch to.
Yeah, you got something that's definitely working for you, so why mess with it?
Yeah.
There you go. Got any more good live?
Yeah, Jeffrey wants to know what your mindset is going into the NRL 22 championship this year versus last year.
So last year, I was a little nervous because that was my first, big match. First time I've ever flown somewhere. It was in Las Vegas last year. I really didn't expect much, to be honest. I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to shoot. Maybe I'll do good. Maybe I won't. It was still really just every couple Saturdays, my dad and I would go out to this 22 match and we'd shoot. So, but this year, it's it's just I have a little more pressure this year, probably to do good because I want to show, my sponsor's gear is good. I want to, perform well, but I'm just gonna go and have fun. If I get nervous, I'm gonna shoot bad. So I just go into it with a smile, go out with it with a smile. Kind of my plan.
All right, my favorite comment just got put up. Jeremy Henner says, I said Allison could do it at least 3 times to adult men at a match last weekend. That is pretty funny. That's right. If Allison could do it, she's a 15-year-old girl, then grown men can do it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Jen, you want to hit number 4? Unless we got any more good live there.
let's see. Let me go to number 4. Sorry, I was on the lives. Oh, yeah. How is life as a vertically challenged shooter? So Sarah Arrington also said, hey, Allison, and that she loves you in the comments. And I know she struggles with this at times. So do you run into situations where you need to stand on something to reach a shooting position?
Yes, and it sucks. So a lot of times, I mean a lot of times I have to stand on like a cinder block or coolers or a big bag or whatever. I like shooting with some like other small people because sometimes they have like stools, which kind of works well for me too. I shoot a lot on my tippy toes, which it's not the best thing to do, but it works for what when I need to do it.
So
sucks being short.
have you ever thought of doing what Frank Galley does? Just get him a pair of high heels for some of those taller stages.
I thought about it. I thought about getting like a really high pair of boots that I could like put in my bag or put like on the outside of my bag if in case I needed them. So I'm gonna get made fun of.
Platform shoes.
Yeah,
exactly.
like the
platform shoes. I've thought about it, and I'm like,
all right, Frank and Angela, y'all got to buy her some platform shoes now.
Yeah.
Now, if you're changing shoes for the stage, do those need to be deployed on the clock?
Oh yeah.
You gotta swap.
Yeah, I better ask about that. Make sure they put that in the next PRS rules.
For real, don't even go there. So the height we know is a challenge. So how about overcoming the advantage that much stronger full-grown men have on some stages? I mean, I know they're like you talked about, you don't want to start with a tripod because it's difficult for you managing the gun. And I know I'm a grown woman, I'm not 15, and I have a hard time, and my gun's not super heavy, but it is heavy for me. So to maneuver, I'll go to a stage and the guy like takes it with one hand and puts it in the port. And I'm like, dude, that must be nice. I'm over there like with my bag and my rifle and trying to get it in the port. So what do you think about that? Like, do you struggle much with it?
I used to. I still do kind of struggle. So when I shoot, I attach my bag. So I use the Air 419 Rail Changer X plate, and I attach a pint-sized Armageddon Gear Game Changer, which just makes it so much easier for me just to maneuver. So I don't have to get my gun out and then grab a bag. So that kind of helps me there. But it's still, I still have, that's another 5-6 pounds to put on my gun. So now I have a 22-pound rifle that I'm throwing in here, got to carry over here, things like that, which it definitely takes some out of me. By the end of a match, I'm like, this is heavy. I'm like, so that's the big thing. It just kind of wears on me for the most part. It's not even the recoil of my gun. It's just how heavy my gun can be for me.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, girl. Me too. I'm tired at the end of the match. Well, you've seen me. Good Lord. In Wyoming, I was like.
Yeah, ready to fall over.
There we go.
Yeah.
Tired.
Speaking of some gear, we got some discount corners that we haven't hit for, I don't know, 4 shows in a row maybe. I don't know if you guys hit it, but I don't know. So discount corner, Jen, usually start us off with those. What do we have?
Yep, carbonarms.us. You can get shotgun shell caddies. You can get 10% off with TSM 10. And you can also get 10% off of jerseys from Under Industries if you just go to their Facebook page and mention the Shooter's Mindset in a message to their Facebook page. You can get 10% off of great jerseys.
There we go. Greg, what do you got?
Unmute
That's
yourself.
the part where I keep myself muted. That's a once per show Greg special there. The code Mindset10 in all caps, it'll save you 10% off of all phone scope products. If you haven't seen them, check them out. It's useful for everything from looking lit for the gram to training a new shooter.
There you go. I got a couple on my end here. TaranTacticalInnovations.com. TSM10 saves you 10% off. Website wide there. Base pads, AR stuff, shotgun stuff, all there. UMTactical.com, TSM10, 10% off, UMTactical.com. Holsters, AR stuff, gun parts. Check them out. Allison, any discounts from your sponsors that you know of?
Not that I know of.
There we go. All right. What else do we got here, guys? As far
Regina says, I mean, me and Gina were talking anyway, but she put it in the comments. She said that she hopes that Allison wins the NRL 22 Nationals this weekend and gets 3 trophies, and also that she predicts that she's going to win a match in the next 2 years. No pressure.
I hope so. I'm trying.
there you go.
She's trying. She says it might be sooner than 2 years, but we'll give you a little time.
I'll do my best, but yeah. I gotta try to get a regional match first, and then we'll start talking 2-day matches.
Yeah, I know. I haven't. I don't know. We had quite a few junior shooters in various games on the show, and they all kind of have this trend of having, parents who really support them throughout their whole journey, no matter what it is. Both parents support you doing what you're doing and put kind of all their time and effort into making you happy and seeing do the best you could out there. I'm assuming that's the case with you. You talked about your parents a lot in the beginning of the show. How helpful have they been to your success in PRS so far?
Yeah, I couldn't be where I'm at without both my parents. They're so supportive. They help me out so much. My dad, he could be shooting all this stuff. He wouldn't have to take me. He could be shooting these instead of me, but he's going through every match. He's not always shooting them all. He's, helping me reload, making sure I got everything down. Carrying my spotting scope, driving me an hour and a half to like Wisconsin or 12 hours to Tennessee where he's not even shooting. I wouldn't be where I'm at without them, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful for everything they've done for me to let me get to this point.
Boom. So congrats to the...
She was 9th overall in Wisconsin.
Wow. Yeah.
Top 10 finish with a stacked AG Cup field.
That's friggin' impressive.
Thank you.
So, hey, you know how you said that not that you know of when you were asked if you have any codes? Just so you know, you have a code now. The code Allison will save you 10% off at Swannie's.
There we go. Swannie's.
Swannie's coming through for you.
There we go.
And I saw where so Swannie had mentioned about Isaac Frank, and Adam just messaged me and asked if I would share this, and I am gonna talk about it, but I'm asking him to share the link just because I'm trying to do 50 things on here. But there is a GoFundMe for the memorial for Isaac Frank, if people want to donate to that and help the family. So, and he was a gunsmith that built custom precision rifles and a very good friend to many and a very good gunsmith. And, an unexpected tragedy took him from his family. So if you want to share the GoFundMe, it's going to be in the comments because Adam's going to post it for me. And then you can either donate or you can share it on your page to kind of help get the word out and help that family.
Yeah, post the link in the Facebook stream and we'll get those shared around.
Yeah, he just posted. I'm going to go and figure out how to share it on our...
Pull it and put it on the page.
Yeah, okay. Put it on the Shooters Mindset Facebook page.
Now let's get that last minute code thrown around too for Swannie's. That's a...
Allison. That's the discount code.
There we go. It seems like like we mentioned this earlier, every time I'm scrolling through my feed, I see you holding another trophy. How many do you have now?
I have...
Or do you lost count? See that? If you're losing count.
No.
If you're losing count, you got too many.
I think I have about 30 trophies right now. Very little of them are top 3, but I got a couple that are top 3, which I'm very happy I have and very grateful that I got. So
I have 3.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
There you go, Greg. Three. Yeah. Congrats, I guess.
Okay, so this isn't a live question, but live when I literally went to Facebook to go and post this link, and Phil Vallejo's status is, the future of the sport is in good hands when Allison Zane recommends to a new shooter that they learn gun safety, then the fundamentals of marksmanship first.
Yep. Well, there it is. What else we got?
Well, some people were asking, a couple things. One, they wanted to know what you thought about Matt Steiner's new haircut. And then Matt commented and said, gee, thanks for the invite to watch you on the show.
I posted it on my Facebook.
Yeah, Matt, if you were a real fan, a real follower, you would have seen it on her Facebook. I mean, not that you help her all the time.
Yeah, Matt clearly needs to hit the star on Allison Zane's page to get notifications first so they pop up on top of his feed.
Matt, you are definitely not a top fan.
No, not at all, Matt. Allison, what goals do you have for the 2020 season?
Okay, so some of the goals that I've set for myself for this season specifically is that one is that I learn something from every match. So like when we talked about the Utah match, I really learned about how the wind affects the elevation and windage of my gun. Really how to put all that, like the windage in my kestrel and use that to shoot and be able to talk wind with other people mostly. So pretty much just trying to take something away from every match, good, bad, whatever I need to work on, just so when I get home I'm like, okay, I need to work on this. This is what I struggle with. So this is what I'm going to go home and practice and work on and try to improve. Another thing that I want to improve this season is my mental game. Last year, I got really nervous, kind of a little stressed because I want to do good. So I've been really focusing on, just going and having fun. If I have a bad stage, I can just go and, just smile, laugh it off, and move on to my next stage. Pretty much.
You're way ahead of this game. Just the way you think about things and what can you learn. It's one that you show up to a match and you don't know what you could have done, or identifying what you could have done better, what you need to work on, and kind of bringing those back and actually work on those. So the next match, you're confident in that. All right. So, I mean, I don't care, what game you play. That's a mindset that folks should have, is diagnosing what you did well at, and fixing it, working towards getting better. I don't know, man. You're way ahead of this game, and I'm sure a lot of people agree with me just from hearing you talk here. And yeah, I can definitely see that 2-year goal coming, as long as you can stick with it. Now, at 15, I wanted to be Michael Jordan at 15. Obviously, things change. So, I mean, if you stick to it, I mean, I think you're no doubt about it. It's right there. You're going to be you're going to get in high overall soon. Thinking the way what you know already is kind of like, wow, I wish I would have learned that so long ago. So, yeah, I can say nothing but good things so far.
A lot of it is just, for me, learning from experience,
There you go.
Trying to figure out what I could do to make how could I perform better? How could I, just, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit of gear. You said you had a very heavy rifle for someone who's, 15 years old. Like I said, we have the height disadvantage already. Heavy gun. What are you running? What is the top pieces of gear that really helps you get through?
So my gun consists of, it's built by Short Action Customs. It's in an MPA BA chassis, which is painted. I have a Tiffany blue American flag on one, and then I have a ombre Tiffany blue. So Tiffany blue is kind of my color that I put on all my guns. I have a Defiance Ruckus Action. I have Hawk Hill barrels, the marksman barrels. I shoot a Huber trigger, 2-stage trigger at about 1.5 pounds. And I shoot a Vortex Razor Gen 2 scope.
There we go.
That's for my gun. And then usually with like, gear, bags, that kind of stuff, I run the Rail Changer X, mostly with my Armageddon gear pint size game changer for either rear support or just bag support.
There we go. Greg, you're running the Razor HD2 now too, right?
Yes, I have that on my centerfire. Thanks, Ryan Hay. It is an absolutely game-changing optic for me. I love it. That's pretty awesome that you're shooting a 1.5 pound trigger with there's so many people that are like, this is more than 6 ounces. I can't shoot this, but you were kicking those guys' butts with your 1.5 pound trigger.
Yeah,
so why not bring it that low down? Do you like the 1.5? There's a particular reason, the feel of it?
Well, I shoot a 2-stage trigger, so it's not just like a one stage. So I gotta go through the 2 motions. But I've always just found that for me, it's also safer. That I like to have that little bit extra of just how much I have to pull the trigger, and just kind of what I learned on when I started to shoot. I didn't have this really light trigger, so I never really didn't want to change that. So, and it kind of makes me, I always got to go back to the fundamentals of, is my trigger pull good? Am I jerking the trigger? Because, if I start doing that, then I'm going to be all over everywhere but the actual target.
Oh, there we go.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Any good live ones that we had come in here?
Keith Baker said he's a top fan.
See, Keith knew that she was going to be on the show, and he got on there. See, he knew. Matt, you're just falling short, man.
Yep. So Jeffrey said, what 3 pieces of gear do you need to have with you at a match? Not the rifle, ammo, or kestrel.
Okay. So I think, it would be my Rail Changer X plate, and then my Armageddon gear pint size game changer, and then the really big Armageddon gear bag, the big
Wait, like the big?
Yeah, the big one.
Nice.
Yeah, I use that a lot just because I need to fill it like a lot of space just because of how short I am. So when I go into things like kneeling and stuff, a lot of these barricades are really high for me. So I just, just helps me fill in that space. So usually when I go up to stage, I have that on me, especially in PRS.
Yeah, they're very useful to have as space fillers. Because with me, I'm at the height where a lot of people will do either like a straight up, straight legs type kneeling, or a really low split or something like that. And I'll have to do kind of like a half kneel type thing, and like to use those under my butt to kind of fill up the space.
Yeah,
it builds a really solid position.
Yeah, that's my big thing. Is I don't want to shoot from. I just try to make it as solid as I can with what I got there.
I'd say you could kind of see right there. There's my big old bag.
Yeah.
So, Allison, how do you feel about, really crushing it on social media? Now, I know we had Katie Francis on the show, and she kind of exploded on the 3-gun scene. I think she was close to your age, if not younger, and her social media exploded, seeing her just go through a 3-gun stage. And with that comes, obviously, some internet popularity, but it also comes with a lot of people who are hating on you or hating that you're running around with a firearm in your hand. So where do you think that you want to see that kind of 1 million subscribers or 1 million likes? Is that something you care for, or how do you feel about that? Because it can easily be done with a lady junior shooter who's doing really well. I think the content can explode easily.
I mean, I would like to get to that point one day where I have, X amount of followers and be able to share that stuff. I mean, everybody that, like at my home, my friends are all they all think this is cool. for me.
Right.
But obviously, you know, some people don't always think that. I really haven't run into that yet. So I really don't know. I haven't really had that experience with that sort of stuff yet. But
yeah.
I mean, I'd like to get to that point one day where I could, you know, share that sort of.
Yeah, share your story. Obviously, it's good for your sponsors that you can get 1 million views for a game changer bag, right? Show yourself using it, and that's huge for the sponsor. Obviously, it helps you get more sponsorship deals by having large social media, stuff like that. But there's also it's the internet, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully, and obviously, a lot of people who have their parents run it, but you gotta be quick on the ban hammer button because some people can get out of hand kind of silly real quick. But yeah, do your thing. Everything is content. If you're just doing this to a reloading lever, that's something I put up on social media. I mean, it's silly the things that you can put up there, and it grows your following. Just kind of record everything and post it if you want to get there. It'll be easy for you.
Try to keep my social media pretty active for the most part, you know, kind
And
of share.
Yeah, top fans. You got to get a top fan circle going here. I'm sure you got it now.
It's either every Sunday or every Monday. Open up Facebook. There's Allison with 2 trophies.
There we go. Perfect. You got a YouTube channel yet, Allison?
I do not. No, I haven't gotten into that part of it yet. I've just kind of stuck with Instagram and Facebook for right now.
Okay.
But hopefully I'll kind of get in that and kind of branch out into that kind of stuff with, you know, videos and kind of demonstrations and things like that.
Yeah, I think that
you could be like Phil and do some fundamental videos.
Yeah.
There you go.
Who taught you fundamentals?
My dad. For the most, yeah, my dad.
Frank, why aren't you winning matches, dude? There's some obvious solid fundamentals there.
My dad spends a lot of time helping me out. Doesn't get a lot of time to practice for himself, or he's been given up a lot for me to be able to shoot, and me to be able to do what I do,
And I'm sure he gets a way better high by seeing you win versus him win. So I get it. And that's how it is. I remember a match, man. She was super young and she was kicking my butt in a pistol game. And I looked at her. She's like 14 years old. And I looked at her dad. I'm like, dude, how did she get so good? And the same thing like you're telling me with your dad, man. He's like, man, we're taking her to and from the matches. We're making sure she practices. We're making sure she's practicing the right way. I mean, there's people who are really good coaches, and those are hard to find. Mm-hmm. So once you have, especially when you have one in your dad, oh man, you're set. Yeah. You're set. There we go.
So Gina just said she's awesome to watch shoot. Best fundamentals I've seen in a shooter in a long, long time.
Thank you. I try to stick with that. I try to pick like one day in a week that I just kind of focus on that. I kind of just my whole plan of when I go and shoot, and just make sure that I'm not slipping up on things like fundamentals.
There we go. Last one here, unless we got any good live that come in. Upcoming matches. What matches do you have coming up?
So I will be shooting the NRL 22 championship in Tennessee this weekend, which I'm super excited for. And then the next weekend, I will be shooting the NRL 22X match in Ohio at Sungton. So that's my next 22 match there. And then I think I'm going to be shooting the Michigan 2-day match, the PRS match, in Michigan, which I'm pretty excited for. And I think that's kind of all I have planned out for right now. Kind of just looking at the next month or two. I'm sure I'll be shooting a couple more 2-day matches in there.
Well, your social media for those who want to follow you is just your Allison Zane, Facebook, Instagram right now, right? Is that where they can go follow you?
It is my Instagram. Yeah, so my Instagram is Allison. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Allison Young Gun PA. That's my Instagram. And then my Facebook's just Allison Zane.
All right, there you go. Any last minute live questions come in? What we got?
Hold on, it's lagging on my side. I have like 10-minute old questions.
No shout outs for Prentice. I mean, he's got to be in there. I mean,
I haven't seen Prentice this time.
Let's say Adam said, did Prentice get the scores for this weekend's matches yet?
probably why he's not in here is trying to get the scores up.
I think Facebook is doing that thing again where it
Lags on the live feed.
yeah, because all of my comments are from like 10 minutes ago too. It's like all of a sudden it won't. I'm refreshing, but last week, was it last week or the week before, we had like hardly any comments, and as soon as we got off the show it was like,
oh, there's 75 comments we missed.
Yeah, it was a Keith Garcia show.
yeah,
Is there?
the comments would not come through.
All right.
Let's
see.
pull a couple good ones and then we'll wrap it up.
Your mom says that your dad does love watching you shoot more than he loves shooting.
Well,
Yeah,
and I meant
has to.
that, Frank, as a huge compliment, because to me it's a huge compliment to be able to teach someone. Like, you've done a fine job teaching her fundamentals, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Adam
One
says
more.
social media just takes time away from practicing and crushing grown men at matches.
There you go. That's a solid point.
Need to hire yourself a media manager.
Dad.
Yeah, I'll tell my dad. Right
There you go. All right. Boom. All right. I think are we good to wrap this one up? What do you think? Shout outs?
I think we're about good. Yeah.
All right. Let's, Jen, start us off with some shout outs.
All right. Shout out to McMillan for awesome stocks, Prime Ammunition, GSL Suppressors, Night Force Optics, Shooters of Augusta and Sharpshooters of Augusta, Hunters HD Gold, Warren Scope Mounts, Under Industries, and Vortec.
This is where Anthony says, Greg, you're next. I have GSL suppressors. I have 2 awesome cans waiting at Crack Shot Pawn and Firearms for the ATF paperwork to get back that I finally got around to sending off today. Shooters and Sharpshooters of Augusta are our local ranges here in Augusta. PDC Custom for the most beautiful rifle chassis money can buy. It's available in lime green and normal human colors. NDZ Performance to build a real slick Gucci Glock. Phone Scope, Shooter's World Powder. I got tons of it in here. There's tons more at Sharpshooters. There's even more there at their store. They got it everywhere. If you're trying to find some Varget, try their precision rifle. It's shooting great for me and my GT. Hunter's HD Gold because I'm blind and it makes me less blind. And Vortec to keep my nasty rifles clean-ish.
Allison, shout outs. What do you got?
Shout out to my parents because I'd never be able to shoot and do what I do without them.
You need on your jersey, Frank and Angela.
Craig and Angela Visa card.
That's right.
Yeah. But to all my sponsors, Short Action Customs, Swanee's Comp Clear, Vortex Optics, Masterpiece Arms, Defiance Machine, Hawk Hill, Armageddon Gear, and Voodoo. So my parents and I'd never be able to afford all the shooting that I do without their help. Can't thank them all enough for everything they do for me. Shout out to the ranges I have, my local ranges, Slington and Rockland. Matt and Ken have helped me out a lot along the way. I got Ken gave my dad and I a membership to his range, and Matt's helped me out a lot over the last couple years, just learning, kind of helping me out with just the game, and yeah.
There we go. A couple shout outs on my end. So if you're watching on the YouTube side of things, definitely hit the subscribe button. Every Tuesday, 9 Eastern, we're doing a new episode of The Shooter's Mindset featuring another great guest. What else? We got the folks over at GSL Technology Suppressors. For all your suppressor needs, check out gsltechnologies.com. If you want to email me, theshootersmindset@gmail.com is a good way to do that. And that'll do it for episode 307 of The Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We'll catch you on the next one.